Hey guys, welcome back to Flirting with Meaning. It wouldn't be an episode if I didn't open with talking about TikTok. You know, when you're just randomly scrolling through your For You page and something pops up and it feels weirdly personal? This happens to me on YouTube, but more so TikTok. And it's not even just me. I'll go through the comment section of like this weird personal video where I feel as if I have been attacked. All the comments are like, I built this For You page brick by brick. And I fear that I did. I did build my For You page brick by brick. Anyways, the thing that I'm talking about is this phrase that was like, when chasing peace creates more chaos. I keep thinking about it. So we're told to always protect our peace and cut off bad energy, right? And do things like meditate, walk away from people or situations that don't serve us, escapism, whatever. But what if when you're trying so hard to find calmness, you're actually making yourself feel worse? So when I first saw the phrase, when chasing peace creates more chaos, what I first thought about was how sometimes we stay silent to keep the peace. Because how many times have you not said what you really felt just to avoid conflict? And you bottle it up or you play it cool and you say it's fine. And you walk on eggshells around certain people because you know that if you say something that might cause them to react not so well, you'll never hear the end of it. Or there will be more tension and an uncomfortable atmosphere, when in reality, it's the other person's fault for not being able to communicate maturely. And I think we all have somebody that comes to mind when we think of this type of situation, unfortunately, but that doesn't make it okay. It's hard to deal with and it's not okay. But this is what I mean when I say that sometimes peace can become chaos because you're trying to avoid tension on the outside, but now there's tension inside you. It's like you traded an uncomfortable moment with somebody else for a long, quiet war within yourself. But here's the truth. Sometimes peace requires honesty, even if it makes things a little messy first. So there's also this thing called spiritual bypassing. This one kind of hits for me because I'm someone who's like deep into spirituality. Like if you see I'm wearing an evil eye, which I like to think kind of helps protect my peace a little bit. I don't know if it works, but I like to think that it does because there's no way for me to prove it, but I guess that's just what a belief is anyway. Do you guys believe in karma, by the way? Sometimes I like to think karma exists and that somebody who does me wrong will get their fair due, but I'll sit and wait sometimes and I don't see anything. I like to hope that something behind the scenes happened in their life as karma for their wrongdoings towards me. Like maybe I won't always see it, but I like to think that maybe something happened. Like if somebody cuts me off on the road and I almost get in an accident, I like to think that maybe they get in an accident later that day, or that they're like somebody dies in their family, which maybe is that too much? I don't know. I like to hope that bad things happen to people who do me wrong via karma. Because when I do something not so great, I feel like I get instant karma. Like if I'm in a bad mood and I say something mean, I'll turn around and stub my toe, like instantaneously. So I do believe what goes around comes around to some extent, but I've also seen very evil people thrive and thrive, so it leaves me unsure. Sometimes I feel the need to hold this belief that what goes around comes around, but other times I feel like I must seek revenge. One thing you need to know about me is that I play the long game. I'll give karma its chance to make things right, but I'll still be slowly gathering information about you to hit you where and when it hurts the most, and you'll never know it's me. So if you ever do me wrong, know that no matter how you think I accepted it, I still never accepted it, and you need to sleep with one eye open. However, sometimes healing means confrontation. And yes, that is deeply uncomfortable. But you know what? Sometimes you have to decide if it's worth it to walk on those eggshells or not when it comes to the confrontation. I feel like sometimes people can try to control everything to try to feel calm. I'm not sure how I feel about this because it can feel productive, I guess, if you're trying to control everything to keep the peace and you're maintaining peace by controlling a situation. But sometimes it can get a little excessive. Like you can kind of come across as a micromanaging type of person that people might not want to be around. At work, I feel like I can be this way because sometimes there's so much chaos and I try to run things in a way in which I can possibly control that chaos. And a lot of the times I feel like it works. I get good feedback on it, but I guess in situations outside of work, maybe that wouldn't be as good. But at the same time, I have this other coworker, this other peer who needs to micromanage everything, nitpicks everything because they have OCD. And hot take, I'm not getting paid to deal with your OCD. Like, I'm not a behavioral therapist. That's not my job. That's a you problem. And you can have that issue and do what you need to do to help yourself at work, but don't take it out on me because I'm also trying my best. And I know some people who actually will over isolate in the name of calm, people who will isolate themselves to keep the peace, which is so sad. I do it too sometimes, but isolation in order to keep the peace it's not the way that you should live your life. We're in this era where everybody's cutting people off like it's a badge of honor, and they'll say, "Oh, I don't need anybody," or "no bad vibes," whatever. And sure, boundaries are important, but if everybody's a trigger and every disagreement means that they're toxic, then maybe the problem isn't them. Maybe you're building a prison and calling it a sanctuary. Solitude can be healing, but isolation can be numbing. Peace doesn't mean pushing everybody away. Sometimes the chaos you feel is coming from loneliness that you're not admitting. And I experienced something like this actually very recently. I almost had a friendship breakup with one of my best friends. Thankfully, we're on good terms now, but pretty much the way that it happened was we worked together and they're one level below me, and I had to reprimand them about something, and it made them very upset. And in my head, I thought, I still have to do my job. If you can't handle the fact that I have to do my job sometimes and you're not above the rules, then maybe you're not the person that I thought you were, because breaking the rules, thinking that you can take advantage of me, knowing that I'm already a nice person and don't like reprimanding people, means that I think you're taking advantage of my niceness. If I feel like someone's taking advantage of my niceness, that's when I started putting up this boundary where I'm like, if you have that disrespect, then I don't need you in my life. And this was when, honestly, she's been my best friend since before we even started working together. So this was really strange and a very weird, uncomfortable situation, because afterwards it caused a lot of tension in the workplace. So in my head, I thought, okay, if she is having this big of an issue with following the rules that I have to set at work, then maybe we just can't be friends the way that we were, because I have a good work ethic. I'm not going to get fired just because I'm letting my friend break the rules. So we weren't talking for a while, and at first I was like, I don't need her. I don't need anybody. If this is how it's going to be, I'll lose everybody in my life. I don't care. But then situations that I wanted to talk to her about kept happening, and I started to miss her, even though I kept seeing her every day. There was just tension. We were being nice to each other, like cordial, but there was just tension. And then finally, I think this was actually yesterday, I kind of broke the tension by saying, "Hey, how are you doing, by the way?" And then I asked her about some guy or whatever. And now we're back to our regular relationship. So that made me realize that I actually wasn't okay with losing that person. Even in the moment I was, and I started to accept it. It playing out, I didn't really like. And I probably would have regretted it if I didn't take the step to put myself in that uncomfortable spot and break the tension. And here's a messy little truth. I think real peace includes tension. Real peace includes honesty. It includes growth, and growth is uncomfortable. As I always say, you will never grow inside of your comfort zone. Growth will always feel uncomfortable. Always. Sometimes peace is speaking up, even if it creates a ripple. Sometimes it's letting go, even if it breaks your heart. Sometimes it's sitting in your feelings and letting them pass through you, not avoiding them, not suppressing them, just being with them. The most peaceful moments in my life weren't the ones where everything looked perfect. They were the moments when I was honest with myself and with others, when I let the storm pass instead of pretending that it wasn't raining. So if you're in that right now and you feel like you're doing everything right, you're cutting people off, protecting your vibe, but you still feel chaotic inside, ask yourself, what kind of peace am I chasing? Because sometimes in trying to create calm, we end up ignoring the parts of ourselves that need the most attention. And those parts, they won't be silenced forever. So let's stop romanticizing stillness and start learning how to hold space for the mess. And y'all know how much I love to romanticize things, but we cannot romanticize this type of thing, because that's where real peace is. I really wanted to talk about this so much because I'm somebody who always tries to keep the peace. I don't know if y'all believe in astrology, but I have a Libra Mars. My Mars is in Libra, which is very much a mediator. I never like to pick a side. I always see both sides. I see both sides like Chanel, if you know what I mean. See both sides like Chanel. See both sides like Chanel. So having to confront things or argue at all makes me so... I'm one of those people who will start crying when I'm frustrated. Like if I have to verbalize my feelings to somebody who caused those feelings, I oftentimes just cry. When I worked in a salon and I was working at the front desk, I always would cry if a customer was mean to me. I just could never understand how somebody who doesn't know me could just give me such a hard time. So I'm somebody who tries to keep the peace, tries to mediate situations. Whenever there's people around me who are fighting or there's tension, I always try to talk to both sides and mediate them. And I'll, get both of their sides, and then I'll tell each of them like, oh, they said this, like, I just want you to know that this is how they felt about that, and it might have been like a misunderstanding. So when I have to do it for myself, for some reason, I have a hard time because sometimes I let my emotions get the best of me, but I'm working on it. So this feels weird because I'm not wearing my glasses, which I normally wear. This is actually what my face looks like without glasses. I almost wear the sunglasses, which I feel so cool when I wear these. But the reason why I didn't wear them today was because I recently, if you know, you know. If you don't know, I will explain to you right now. Rhode launched at Sephora. And yeah, you could always buy Rhode online. But I wanted to swatch the colors in person because I kept looking at the colors. And I'm not a big makeup person. So if I buy something, I need to really, really, really want that and be able to use it, because I also don't go anywhere. I go to work and I go home, and sometimes I go to Trader Joe's. So I really don't have places to wear makeup. So if there's something I can wear every day, I need it to be very good. So Rhode launched at Sephora, and I got the pocket blush, which I put on my cheeks and I put on my eye as eyeshadow. I put on my nose a little bit. Where was I going with this? Oh, so today I'm actually wearing makeup. I'm not wearing like mascara or anything, but I'm wearing enough to feel a little better about myself. So I didn't feel the need to cover my face as much. And if you're listening to this and not watching, then this probably means absolutely nothing to you. If you're not into the beauty scene, this probably also doesn't mean anything to you. I'm kind of just yapping at this point, but yeah. Okay, can I say something? Actually, I fall for good marketing. I am such a fool for good marketing. I saw this brand called Caducci on TikTok. Their ad is so good. It made it seem like you were old money if you bought their watches. It was like tarnish free. They made it seem like it was handmade. And it turns out it was drop shipping from China. But I didn't know that till after I bought it. So I bought this watch and it was like $69, and it came in the mail, and the packaging wasn't even, it was just not what it was supposed to be, and it was just a mess in the box. I'm wearing it right now. Again, if you're listening, you can't see this. This means nothing to you, but it came with a free heart necklace and a matching heart bracelet. But I can't even wear the watch because I can't get it on myself. But that's another story. I'm still going to wear the watch, but it was definitely just a marketing tactic. They made it seem like these are coming straight from Italy. They wanted you to feel so beautiful. I personally felt a little scammed when I found out. However, I don't know if this is why I like Rhode so much, but Rhode's packaging, chef's kiss. Like, that is something I want to look at. If I want to look at it, I will buy it so I can keep looking at it, carry it around in my bag, so whenever I go in my bag, I can look at it. So just know one thing about me. If you have a good marketing tactic, I will probably buy your product and fall for it. And I don't think most people can market well, which is why I think I'm so obsessed with Rhode. Am I going back to Sephora right after I'm done with this to go and see if they have more things from Rhode? Yeah, because last week they sold out very quickly. Anyways, what I'm getting at is I feel I'm a little more comfortable in my skin today, which is really hard for me to do. It's really hard for me to feel comfortable in my skin. I'm doing little things to try to feel better, like putting a little blush on my cheek, even though most of my face is red all the time anyway. Trying to look nice even though nobody's gonna see me. But at the same time, I'll go home. I low-key started having a mental breakdown about this the other day. I'll go home after trying to have a good day and just feel so much guilt and shame because I'm not living the way that I feel like I should be living. Like, I'll feel so much self-pity because I'll spend the entire day alone and be like, why am I still doing everything alone after I did the work to... Anyway, I'm getting off topic. What else do I want to talk about today? So my podcast has been growing so much thanks to you guys. I love you guys so much. I love talking because I don't have anybody to talk to. So I love being able to have this podcast and talk to you guys. It's very healing for me. And I'm so, so, so grateful. But I am very afraid for the day that people I know in real life find my podcast because I know they're going to judge me or know things about me that I kind of don't want them to know. But you know what? At this point, let them know. I feel like I lived in the shadows in the middle of the woods most of my life, and it's time for me to just expose myself and be super vulnerable online. And I don't know if I'll always film this podcast in my car, but right now I'm vibing with it. I think I told you guys in the last episode that I started utilizing these curtains because of the glare. Maybe I'll do one here, unless you guys like this. It won't always be a blue day, as you know. Not every day is a blue day. However, I know that in some of my episodes it was a cloudy day, and it's like so weird with the exposure that I might do that. So yeah, if there's anything that you guys want me to talk about specifically, any topics, definitely let me know in the comments because I want to hear your suggestions. I want to hear what you want to talk about. I have some ideas for more things that I want to talk about, and I'll keep posting those types of things. Mostly like existentialist topics. I do like to talk about fashion and beauty. I don't know if everybody wants to hear about that, but I love to talk about it. I like to talk about airplanes and life things, travel, the seasons. It's autumn. I love autumn. I like to talk about food. I love talking about food, but it makes me hungry. So if I talk about food, I need to have food with me. Maybe I could do more things on my vlog channel too, because I do have a vlog channel for those who don't know. So my vlog channel is half Korean because I started it when I was in Korea and I tutored Korean. So I kind of did it as a way for my students to watch and learn the English, but also me to get better at the Korean. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds over there. Now I'm mainly posting in English because I've been in America and I have to tutor less because of everything else going on in my life. But yeah. So make sure to follow me and I will be back next week. As always, I'm posting more shorts with things I'm reflecting on. So stay tuned for my shorts. So I'll see you next week.